Nepal has announced a new 100 rupee currency note which shows a disputed map of the country.
Why did Nepal put disputed map on its currency? What will India do about it? Is there any Chinese role in this particular action, and what strategic signal it is sending across the globe? Maps are not just lines on paper, they are the instruments of sovereignty. And Nepal's new rupees 100 note has activated one of the most sensitive border disputes in South Asia. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and today we are going to understand yet again that why Nepal is claiming Limpiyadhura Kalapani region in their new note that has been released. What has India said about it? What exactly is that territorial dispute, how it originated, and how it is being seen in the international foray. So let us start with the incident itself. So when we are talking about this new note, it is a 100 rupees note which has been released by the National Bank of Nepal, that is the Nepal Rashtra Bank. And in this rupee 100 note, as we get to see, there has been inclusion of Nepal's map. But the problem is not the Nepal's map, but the territories of India which have been included in this, including Kalapani, Lipulekh and Limpiyadhura. Now the problem with this region is that this is a territorial dispute that has existed for a long time, and as of now the control over this region lies with India, and there has no resolution to the dispute. So Nepal directly going up and giving it a constitutional mandate as of 2020 and also putting it in the note reinforces Nepal's political framing that they have the territorial claim. India has retaliated, clearly told that even if they have put it on the map, this will not alter the ground reality. What they have done is untenable and also unilateral. Now when we are talking about this whole issue, this has been rightly responded by India, and it has also been marked as historically inaccurate. And in this situation, India has also gone ahead and said that even though this is not right, we are still open to the resolution of this dispute, but through dialogue, not through unilateral measures, through border working groups and mechanisms around it, and constructive engagement that can take place between both of the countries. Now, because we have been talking about this whole issue, we also need to understand that how Nepal is claiming this. After that, we will be moving on to the whole territorial dispute, what exactly it is. Now, this movement of Nepal of claiming this given territories is not new. Back in 2020 itself, they had constitutionally adopted a new map in which these territories were located. So, all they are saying is, we had already constitutionally adopted that map, and if we are putting it on our official currency, it is not wrong. And this move, much more the international impact comes the domestic impact, much more than that comes the domestic impact, because it is this territorial nationalism which comes together as a unifying theme, as a major pointer in the domestic politics of Nepal, which the current government is enjoying as well. So if we talk about the move of 2020 as well, that also got the all-party support in Nepal. Now enough about the present situation, let us understand about the territorial dispute. Now let me show you the map. The given region which has been shaded, this is the region of dispute, okay? But at the same time, you have to understand, as of now, this whole region, the claim, no matter what, who even another country from Antarctica can come and put a claim on this. But as of now, the control lies with India, and the whole issue here is, as per the Treaty of Sugauli, which was signed in 1816, it was decided that the Nepal and India border will be demarcated by Kali River. Now, the reason there is a dispute, it is Nepal which claims that the origin of Kali River lies here. So, according to that, if this region falls with Nepal, but if you look at the sources, you will find, as per India, the origin lies at Kalapani. So it is the problem that Nepal and India are interpreting the source of Kali River differently, and that is why this dispute has arose. But if we talk about these regions, if you talk about Kalapani, it is under Indian administrative control since 1962. If you talk about Lipulekh, you'll get to understand that it is the key Indo-China trade and pilgrimage route to Mansarovar, Kailash Mansarovar. And this dispute again was highlighted when India resumed the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. And when we talk about Limpiyadhura, this is claimed by Nepal as the true source. That is why they believe this whole region is their own. And that is why the contention is present. Now, when you have understood the territorial dispute as well, let us understand if there is any historical basis to it. Most of it I have already explained. For example, if we talk about India's end, India has explained that as per the hydrological records, the east of Kalapani is the origin of river, and as per the British administrative maps, we also get to see that Kalapani has been in India's side, and that is why we get to see continuous Indian control, especially since 1962, and this is where we have seen strong international law advantage as well. But Nepal also comes with some evidences. They have some pre-1860 maps which shows that Limpiyadhura is within Nepal, and this is based on some early British surveys and treaty wording. And the problem here is Nepal is saying that the construction, the usage of trade route, pilgrimage route is happening without consultation, and that is why they have to come up with the territorial claim with their full force. Now, on this note, we will be moving on to understand that has it been always like this, or India and Nepal share a different side of relation as well. So if we talk about India and Nepal relation, you have to understand the most important factor that our ties are not recent. We have civilizational ties. We have had open borders for almost more than 200 years. We have a 1950 Friendship Treaty which allows the free movement of people across the border. There is a national treatment which is given to each other's citizens, and this was the foundation of modern bilateral ties. But Nepal recently has been seeing India as overshadowing partner. They have believed that this treaty was an unequal treaty, and this is where the foundations have been going haywire. There are many other factors as well which shape the ties between India and Nepal, such as the trade. For example, India happens to be largest trading partner of Nepal. Nepal is dependent on India, be it for fuel, medicine, essential goods. Transit for Nepal happens through India because as Nepal is landlocked, India is the one which can give it sea access. It is via Kolkata, via Haldia and via Vizag. And India is also related to Nepal for electricity purposes because India purchases Nepali hydropower via transmission lines. So we have to understand that it is not just the civilizational ties, it is not the earlier treaties that have been signed, it is also the economic ties that bind these two nations. But the recent events will make you understand that how all of this has gone on the other end. Because in 2015, we got to see that India and China decided to use Lipulekh Pass for trade route and pilgrimage route. Nepal started protesting against it. And this is the time that we have seen the anti-India sentiment growing in Nepal. After that, 2019, India built a road through Lipulekh. 2020, as a retaliation, we saw that Nepal directly released a new map and also brought in a constitutional amendment which had the full political pressure and force of all the political parties, which included these disputed areas as well. And in 2025, when recently India and China have resumed their trade and using the pilgrimage route via Lipulekh, this has again happened because Nepal has printed the disputed map on currency, and this has renewed the tension again. So the reason recently Nepal has been looking here and there away from its trusted partner has most importantly to do with another neighbor of ours, that is China. China has a big role, a different geopolitical layer placed in here which we need to understand. First thing here is, when we are talking about China in this situation, you have to understand that Nepal's currency printing is outsourced, and as of now it is increasingly outsourced to China. Then it is China's state-run companies which have won repeated printing contracts, and this is a way of China showing that we are with Nepal when Nepal is talking about having sovereignty over these areas. Please remember, this comes closely related to when China has subtly tried to deny Arunachal residents the passport, the validity of Indian passport of Arunachal resident. So these are the subtle ways of making the territorial claims and shaking the regional waters. And this is why we are worried, because it is China who is not facilitating Nepal in only printing the currency, but it also wants energy security from Nepal. It also wants to encircle India, where it is increasing its ties with Bangladesh, it is increasing ties with Sri Lanka. Pakistan has been an all-weather ally already. And this is where we need to understand, we cannot see it with a narrow lens that Nepal is trying to target India, but there is a lot bigger force behind Nepal which is facilitating this at the same time. So we cannot forget China's role in this whole situation. Reason being, China is trying to convert this bilateral territorial disagreement into a trilateral and a triangular security issue, which can be again problem for India itself. Now that we have understood multiple dimensions around it, it becomes also important for us to understand that why this region matters for India. So when we are talking about especially the Lipulekh and Kalapani region, it is a critical tri-junction with China. We have just seen it in the map. I will take you back there. So if you see in this given map, this is the region where we are talking about a tri-junction, Nepal, India and China. When we will be pressurized into bringing another factor, another party into this situation, that to China, then this matter will be handled in the same way that other territorial border disputes are handled by China. So in this situation, we wouldn't want to have another friction point with China. Furthermore, this is the main region which gives India a monitoring table into the Tibet itself. And the main Mansarovar pilgrimage route depends only on the Lipulekh pass. Apart from that, there are security concerns such as the strategic penetration of China in Nepal, and most importantly, to manage anti-India networks which have for very long used these open borders which are accessible through Nepal. So that is why in case of India, it is not about just this claim, sovereignty. It is, yes, it is about that, but it is not just about that. Why? Because it has national security concerns tied to it, and it will have very large implications as well. Now moving towards the conclusion. When we are concluding, we have to understand, as India has highlighted, that a printed map does not mean anything on the ground reality. But if we talk about this particular issue itself, it is an issue which is blended in history, geography, nationalism, and most importantly, geopolitics. And the main core problem that stands here is much more than just borders. It is a whole nation, that is China itself. So the currency move is, yes, symbolic, but at the same time, real control remains unchanged, but there are nations which are eyeing to change this. On this note, I'll be leaving you with a practice question. You can put down the answers in the comment section. The answer of yesterday's question here is C. That was all for today. Thank you so much.